Everyone, I'm Jamie Dorley. I'm CEO of World of Wellness, and we are live at the Weiner Wellness Week with my co-host of the Jamie and Joe Show, the Godfather, Joe Messino. How are we doing today, Joe?
Unbelievable.
We can't believe it, how good you're doing.
Yeah,
Look at this guy. He looks
unbelievable
great.
good.
He's excited. It's got nice weather here in Pittsburgh. We got a huge crowd forming today at the World of Wellness. This is the Weiner Wellness Week. We do these wellness events and open houses 5 times a year, with the whole goal to continue making the world healthy. And we want you to have a healthy, positive experience in wellness, because when you do, you snowball and you continue to add new things on. If you think about the last 5, 10 years, you're probably doing more things for wellness now than you were before. So at the Wellness Weeks, these are open houses. You can be a patient and come on back, or you can just be someone who wants to check out what we're doing. You do not need an appointment. You don't have to pay anything. You can come down all day. We have workshops going on at 9, 10, 11, 12, and 1. Some really big speakers today and some incredible guests. We have free healthy food during lunchtime. What time is lunchtime?
11 to 2. Come on down. Piata Italian street food.
I love the accent
Said
you
with
broke
flair.
out. Remind me when Doc used to do the Indian accent
Oh,
at the Indian
yeah.
restaurant. So, hey, when in Rome, right? So we got free healthy food outside. Come on down. Again, you don't have to buy anything. The food is how much?
0.0.
Oh, free food. Well, that should get you down here. Let alone bring your kids, bring the family down. We also have smoothies going on in the kitchen.
The
What's
bar
your
is
favorite
open.
smoothie?
Purple Haze. Hands down. Purple Haze. It's the winner.
And we have some incredible healthcare professionals. Of course, you've seen Dr. Gideon Orbach with 20 years of chiropractic experience speaking this week during an event. We have rising superstar Dr. Phil Ross talking about some of the new technologies he uses. And we have incredible guests right back here today. Always the best dressed man in the room. And when I met Jeff, I admired his outfit. And he says, you only get one chance to make a first impression.
Good
And
first
it always rang in my head. And he's doing incredible work here. He's trained in what I call nutrition response testing. Some people call it applied kinesiology or muscle testing. He's also trained in NATE, which is the allergy elimination technique. And he really comes from a great, genuine heart of really trying to help people. So we're so lucky to have him back on. Welcome back, Jeff Niznik.
Thanks for having me on again, Jamie. It's always a
you.
pleasure to be here. It's always a pleasure to share what we do, because like you said, this is a journey. It's a message we want to get out there. People can turn their lives around. We don't have to be stuck with these diseases and ill working bodies. It can all turn around. Some people go full force and jump in at full force. Some people take their baby steps. Wherever path you're on, we can meet you there and get you on a transition to change your life to a better, have less pain, have a greater function. You feel better.
You're improving yourself, right?
Yes.
That's what it's about, progress, not perfection. And I know Jeff really cares about changing people's life, because your background was, this is a sharp guy here. You were an engineer originally, right?
Yes.
So how did you transition from engineering career to the muscle therapy and the nutritional work?
So I was in incredible pain most of my life. Knee pain, back pain, neck pain, shoulders hurt, everything hurt all the time. I had extreme sleep apnea on top of that, brain fog, was fatigued all the time. And a muscle therapist at a chiropractic office got me into like a stretch position. He dug his elbow in across my ilium, my low back, tore through all the scar tissue, and it really reduced my pain significantly. I had greater range of motion. He had personally trained me to do massage therapy, and I started doing massage therapy then. And I was always interested in vitamins and minerals and taking some protein powders with workouts and so forth. But there's nothing in it as far as a really in-depth version of that. And he's the guy that initially got me into this and transitioned basically my life into out of the numbers crunching world into a healing world, which really thrilled me. And that's what I've been doing for the past 30 years now. That was 1991. I was training massage. 1992, started doing massage and doing all these things. So it's been 30 years now.
Oh, we have the
There you go.
same timeline, because I was getting into it in 91 and moved to Pittsburgh in February 92. And the thing I love what Jeff does is, folks, stop looking for the cure. How about we focus on the cause, right? And that's what I see that you do that's very unique, focusing on the cause. So before we get into some of the technology, what are the top 3 causes that you see across the board, regardless of what the symptoms are? What are some of the more common causes of what you're seeing every day in your practice?
It's how toxic our body is, number one.
Number one, toxicity.
They used to teach you your genes were your destiny. Your genes are not your destiny. The toxins can distort genomic expression. So get rid of the toxins. We live in an unbelievably toxic world. If you lived in the United States area in the year, say, 1200, we were exposed to fire smoke. You know, everything else since
Joe,
then.
you were around
Do we have to go back that far, Jeff?
Before Joe. I mean, this is way back.
BC.
Woo!
Poor Joe. Yeah, so the toxins we're exposed to now from all these different sources, we need to get rid of.
Yeah.
And so toxicity is a major, major one.
I just well, quick comment on that, because we always talk about number one, toxicity. Let me give you a couple examples. You know, in 1982, the U.S. EPA did a study called the xenobiotic toxicity study, right? And what they wanted to see is what chemicals do people have in their fat tissues. That's where you store the toxins. And they found the top 5 toxins, things like plastics, solvents, dioxins, heavy metals, showed up in 100% of people in 1982. This is over 30,000 people. This is not a small study. So do we think it got better or worse since then?
Way worse.
It's only got worse. One more part of it, and this is interesting, was that when we first started Nutritional Frontiers, actually a couple months before, January of 2008, I was in a seminar in Orlando, Florida, with a medical doctor, a gentleman from India, a really sharp guy. And what he was showing is that since the 1920s with plastics, and Dr. Rakowski showed the same thing, we've been exposed to 5 generations in toxins in 2, meaning our body can't keep up. There's no mechanism of action to clear some of these toxins, and that's why they become so damaging to not only, like you said, the genes, but how the genes express. Just reading an article yesterday morning, cancer has dramatically increased in the last 2 years. So number one, toxicity. What would be number 2?
Nutrient deficiency. Nutrient deficiency. If 90% of our farmland doesn't have iodine, doesn't have selenium, doesn't have chromium, and you need these nutrients to fully function, your thyroid depends on iodine and selenium.
Right.
Your liver needs selenium. Your blood sugar metabolism needs chromium. It's not in our food supply for the most part. So unless you're supplementing and doing what you can to get more nutrients in your system, you have decreased function. And you go to traditional medical routes, and they give you drugs for your symptoms of your nutritional deficiencies. So if you can get rid of toxins, put nutrients in, you start to work better. Now, say for instance, you know, in the things we're being sprayed with in the air, everybody have the test on the first visit generally has a poor response to aluminum.
And that's one of the highest we see on the Oligo scan too. Every single person.
If aluminum is stuck to the walls of your arteries or your intestines or wherever, you need
Thyroid, right?
Thyroid, and you need some type of nutrient to bind to the aluminum so it doesn't bind to you, and our food doesn't have the nutrients.
And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about chelating and chelating minerals, because chelating means attach and help pull it out of the body, right?
Yes.
If you don't have that toxin, right, neutralized, as I would call it, you can't excrete them. No different than a police officer trying to escort somebody out. They first have to neutralize the situation and then excrete them out. And we're seeing that a lot with nutritional deficiencies.
And doesn't fluoride complicate aluminum?
Fluoride, fluoride binds with your thyroid. Was it the halides, the group of iodine, bromine, chlorine?
Bromide, chloride, iodine.
And they actually bind more easily than iodine does. So getting away from fluoride is a great thing. Get away from brominated bread is a great thing.
Yes.
But you know, there's so many toxins and so many different things they keep putting in. We need to really be diligent at avoiding these things. First of all, educating yourself, educating your family, your relatives, your coworkers, educating everybody as much as you can on this stuff, because it's not on the television.
Nope.
You know, it's not on TV. So what do you got to do? Come to the Wine and Wellness Center, watch our videos, share our videos with people, get them involved in changing their health around by putting nutrients in, getting toxins out.
Yeah, so I think that's a great point, right? So we're swimming in the sea of toxicity. We're suffering from nutritional deficiencies, right? And I think the challenge is that people don't notice it right away, right? It's a slow progress to these disease states or symptoms that they're dealing with, right? And we understand there are a time and a place for medicine and even surgeries, but for these chronic conditions, they don't have the answer, right?
Right.
And we have to address the underlying causes. So what's the third one if we're looking at 3?
Well, emotions, stresses of our lives,
Stress.
All our schedules, where you got to be, you got to do this, got to do that, and people stop taking care of themselves because they got to rush here and rush there and take care, get the kids here, do all this.
Yep.
It takes a little bit of more planning ahead of time, cooking meals ahead of time, eating more things at home so you're not being abused by the food industry, all the chemicals they put in your food. You got to plan to make more things at home to take care of all these things. So you avoid the toxins. It makes a huge, huge difference in people's lives.
So we have issues with toxicity, we have issues with nutritional deficiencies, and we have stress components, all creating this perfect storm of unhealth, right? Because we look at it, we are the sickest country in the world, right? Ranked 72nd. I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I don't know, can you name 72 countries? That's a long way down the list, right? We know all the top countries like Japan and Italy and Greece and stuff always have great health because you mentioned the stress component, right? Remember the first time I went overseas, actually the only time, but when I went to Germany, the first night we went to dinner, they started bringing out little appetizers and wine. I said, wait a minute, hold on, what are we doing? I haven't seen a menu. What's it going to cost, right? And my buddy from there goes, would you relax? He goes, where are you going tonight? I said, I don't know. So I realized that they bring that out in the house just to kind of relax you, to settle you in. Mm-hmm. The dinners were 2 to 3 hours, right? Yep. But you talk, you laugh, you eat a little bit, you share a little bit of dessert at the end, but it was more of the social experience like it used to be when we grew up. Yeah. And then by the end of the week, someone joined us for dinner, and they did the same thing. I says, relax, enjoy the night. I've been doing this a whole week. I know the plan. But it's serious. Like even during COVID, a lot of people would get fearful and isolate. What we did is we, re-implemented the Sunday family dinner. So, Joe, how important are those things? We're looking at stress because we need that time to re-energize, and I think the best way is with connections with people.
Yeah, I mean, the family unit has been taking a pounding over the last maybe couple of decades, and it got even worse over the last 2.5 years. And I think it was interesting. I think it was Dr. O. I think they called it we've been going through a 2.5-year flu in this country. Yeah. But anyhow, you would think, maybe that was one of the silver linings, that it brought families back together. I would hope so. But it got to be a little more than that, because you can't have all the family in the house and one in one room playing a video game and one in another room, and you have to be together, right? And that Sunday meal, that's always been a tradition in our households. I keep it up to this day. And everybody, you know what? They look forward to it. Because it is something special. You feel good. And your emotions, and this is a quote I love, and you can steal this one if you like, but your emotions are the GPS to your life. How you feel dictates where you're going next.
Yeah, there's been many studies and books, Think and Grow Rich. It's not just about money, but rich in life. So
rich in life.
Yeah, so you talk about your Sunday meal. Another great thing about that is you can now control the toxicity level of your meals.
That's
Whereas
right.
if you got a group of family members together and went to a restaurant, you're totally out of control. All the things they're putting in food is just totally manipulated.
Jeff, do you ever eat at restaurants?
I occasionally do.
Okay. Because I know he tears things apart more than I do when he reads on food and labels. But
yeah, I do. But I will if I do eat something I know it's going to affect me. I get sinus congestion. I get joints ache. I'll take extra greens that night. Proline greens help to detoxify me. Yeah, I'll take extra things to rush it out of my system.
And you don't go anywhere without probably enzymes, right?
I was just thinking, Prozyme would be one of the best things to take when you go out to eat. Yeah. Plus, you got to select the right places.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sometimes I know you're in a situation where, you're traveling or something, or you go to someone's house, you don't have a lot of control. But I think you can, search out the better restaurants when possible.
Absolutely.
Bring some shakes like the Power Cleanse or the greens on the road with you, because those will help you overcome some of those challenges. So, just to remind everyone, I'm Jamie Droley. We have the Godfather, Joe Messino, with special guest Jeffrey Niznik. He is a nutritionist, applied kinesiologist, and he does innate, which is allergy elimination technique. Are you accepting new patients at the World of Wellness?
Absolutely, always.
So accepting new patients, you can call the office at 412-922-WELL. That's 412-922-9355. So the phone's ringing off the hook right now. So when that person schedules with Kylie, our registered nurse, or Sonia at the front desk, what does the experience look like? So they're scheduled today at 2 o'clock. They come in. What is the experience? Walk them through, because a lot of people, they don't know. They're fearful, right? They can go get an MRI and all this expensive testing, never question anything. They come here, they're not really sure, right?
Yeah.
So how do we give them some confidence that what they're coming in for, you can help them with, and that it's going to be a pleasurable experience? So what does that process look like?
So first of all, people get an hour with me. So we get a chance to sit down, relax, and talk. And they'll fill out their paperwork form. They'll have a chief complaint on the paperwork form. They may list some supplements they're taking. They may list some medications they may be taking. And we really talk about what's going on with them, what they really want to focus on, and what they really want to attack. But then I go through an educational process to teach them our body's need for a wide range of daily complete nutrition, a bunch of different nutrients we need to fully function. Like your liver is supposed to do 500 different functions. One of the main things is to take toxins that we ingest and convert them to water-soluble, non-toxic things. And the more congested your liver is, the less it can do that. And now more toxins get in your body, you get more inflammation in your body from toxins attacking your organs and different things inside of you. So,
What's the timeline on the liver regenerating itself?
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
It takes 8 weeks to replace every cell of your liver with a new cell.
Yeah,
So-
I always say give it at least 4 months. You should
Yes.
see improvement sooner, right? But you have to give it a whole 4 months before your red blood cells turn over,
Exactly.
your liver. And
Yeah.
you give your body a chance, like you said, to breathe and talk, right?
Yeah, to get toxins out, to get nutrients in, to replace old cells that may not work so well with new cells that may
Right.
work better, and eventually you've replaced an organ that works a lot better.
Wow.
And people's bodies start to work better. What a concept. You
So
put nutrients
the
in.
body has the ability to do this if you give it what it needs.
Yeah, so you can't come in and expect that one magic pill. It takes
Right.
a little bit of a lifestyle shift to avoid more toxins, get more nutrients in, digest your food a little more efficiently, have less irritation from your foods, not having less food inflaming your body. What a concept.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you start to work better.
So they come in for that first appointment, take about an hour.
Takes about
you
an
really
hour.
listen and talk and understand what their history is, right? Then you do some testing right in the office that day.
And this is really
And then
important.
you customize their lifestyle program, right? Their foods, their
Exactly.
activity, stress, sleep, nutrients. And I really like how you use a combination of food-based nutrients like the greens and colors and the shakes, because it's so challenging sometimes when someone's trying to change their diet because they're thinking in terms of weight loss, not always health, right? So when you're talking to someone, you're looking at more, what are some of the foods that are congesting their body, right? That are making the body more toxic. So when they leave that first appointment, they're ready to go?
Yeah, so think about your pancreas is supposed to produce all these digestive juices, all these enzymes, all these stomach acid cofactors. You need all kind of nutrients to make those things. And if your pancreas is underperforming, you won't digest food as well as you should, and you get less nutrients out of your food. So on initial visit, this is where people really see a difference when they come back. They may not feel fantastically different, but on paper it shows a huge difference. I test them on foods on the first visit, and they may fail on 50, 60, 70, 90 foods. They have no idea. They have such a poor response to these things. And I test them on heavy metals in the heavy metals testing kit, and they may fail on 5, 6, 7, 8 metals. They come back 4 weeks later after changing their daily nutritional completeness, and they've avoided foods that inflame them. I test them again, and they fail on 8 or 9 bad things that everybody else fails on, and they don't fail on foods anymore. I test them on heavy metals, and they don't test poorly on metals anymore. So their body's ability to detoxify has radically improved. Their body's ability to digest food has radically improved. All of a sudden, they get more nutrients into their liver, into their kidneys, into their brain, into their heart, and their body starts working better. And they said, you know what, my knees bother me less, yeah. And they start to really see, like, yeah, things are changing. And it's only been 4 weeks. 4 weeks.
I can't believe you've gone 20 minutes and haven't mentioned the 90 essential nutrients yet.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I base a lot of my stuff on. Is a huge research study done was from 1971 to 1983. They did 20,500 autopsies on animals, 450 different vertebrate animal species. They did 20 million tissue sample derivations where they figured out the nutrient makeup of every part of all of our bodies and found out all vertebrates require the same thing. 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids, and 60 different minerals. So we give people, I test them to see which groups of minerals and nutrients and vitamins their body wants. They take these things, and all of a sudden, life changes for them. And so picture what this did in 4 weeks' time. Where would you be 2 years from now if you kept doing this? I've been doing this for 6 years now, and I'm doing things I haven't been able to do in 42 years. My knees bothered me since high school. And a month or so ago, I did
Quite a few years ago.
285-pound squats I did a month ago.
Incredible.
My body fixed itself and replaced old cells, old joints with new joints. Everything
So they
works
come
better.
in for their first appointment. You're going to meet with them for an hour. You're going to customize the program. And this all costs them less than $100 on the first visit, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's the best bargain in town. Sometimes I think we should raise the price because people may not really believe it, right?
Yeah.
It's an incredible value they get to do all that in one visit. And then how many times do they come back? Because some of these programs out there, you come back every week for months. You come twice a week for years. Like, how often do people come back? Because the goal has always been to get them healthy and then get them to the Wellness Week.
Yeah, so people usually come back 4 weeks' time. Then after that, maybe another 4 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. After that, maybe 2 or 3 months. And after that, many times I don't see people again. Because I see them in the sales here. And this one little old lady, she had constipation for 60 years. 4 weeks after I saw her, she didn't have constipation again.
This sounds like a Saturday Night Live routine. That's not. It's almost impossible.
Yeah. I was
And you
blown
bring
away.
up a great point because I remember Dr. Wana used to say this. You know, if you have a flat tire and you don't fix it, and you come back next year, it'll still be flat. So the fact
Yes.
that she had 60 years of this has no impact on the ability for you to fix it, right?
Your
it could have been
body's-
6 weeks
Yeah.
or 60 years. It doesn't matter if you go to the cause of the issue, right?
Exactly.
And sometimes people will start to internalize this. My constipation has had this for 60 years.
Yeah. My
Nobody can fix
Crohn's.
it. I've been
Yeah.
to all the specialists. I've been to the Cleveland Clinic. I've been to you. Do you hear this routinely? Because I've heard it a million times. Yeah.
Constantly, and 3 or 4 weeks later, I get testimonial letters. I can't believe that after a week and a half, I don't have ulcerative colitis. I can't believe that after 3 weeks, I've had this problem for 35 years of chronic diarrhea. I don't have it anymore. I get testimonial letters all the time. This
So-
is what your body is capable of doing.
We're not making any claims here, of course, but a couple weeks ago, me and Joe did a VIP dinner in Ohio on detoxification and GI protocols, and you were so generous to share some of your case studies. So can we maybe pick a couple of those and just go over them? I know off the top of your head, no
Yeah.
pressure.
Can you imagine yourself or your child, 21 years old? He starts having ulcerative colitis, bleeding where he shouldn't be bleeding from. And he goes, sees the medical route, they give him drugs, and it just slows down the amount of bleeding he's having. This goes on for 4 years to a point where his liver becomes toxic. Then he put on drugs for a toxic liver from the medication from the ulcerative colitis. 10 years total time, the anxiety building up, like, am I going to die from colon cancer? Am I going to die? Because it just keeps bleeding for 10 years. He came in and saw me. I did all my tests with him. We tested him on foods, and he failed on like 60-some foods. He stopped eating these foods. I tested him on his 90 essential nutrients. I tested him on a digestive aid, help him digest his food more efficiently, probiotics for the intestines, antifungal regime for the intestines, and he wrote me a testimonial letter. He says after like 10 days, he didn't have bleeding anymore, and his life totally changed. The fear, his daily fear, was gone because he finally had hope that this is going to resolve.
There it
Incredible.
is.
And he hasn't had a
Hope.
problem since.
Yes.
And how old is this young man? 21?
He was 21 when it started. He's 31 now. 10 years this went on.
You know, it's amazing that you get the results like that because usually when they have some type of autoimmune diagnosis, which autoimmune is on the rise like everything else, but we're going to see more and more of this in the next few years, they're told immediately that there's no cure, it's genetics, and diet has nothing to do with it. And you're telling us the exact opposite. Well, that's,
That's
the
what they
message, and
say.
important
That's
that we
exactly.
got people understand
Yeah.
that, hey, number one, you do have hope, right?
Yeah.
At the very least, Jeff will not harm you, right?
Yeah.
That's the old Hippocratic oath,
At the
right?
very least, we put nutrients in your body.
Yeah. So we will see improvement regardless, and the more you follow the program, the better results. It's not a maybe it'll work. People always see improvement if they follow the program. Would that be a
Yeah.
correct statement?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I see this all the time. Really.
Jeff, I know we want to get into some of your allergy reversal too, but before we do, it seems to me that the majority of the people you see and you help are gut related, with like diarrhea, constipation, Crohn's, irritable bowel leaky gut. I mean, is that It seems that way. Is that the case?
That's where most of the things originate from nutrient deficiency, toxicity. A lot
And
of stuff
stress.
irritates your gut.
Yeah.
Stress messes it up. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a kid, he had shooting pain from his neck down his arm for 2.5 years. He was getting debilitated. He was 21 years old, a college student. And I tested him. He had fungal issues in the intestines. I gave him the right nutrients, gave him his 90 essential nutrients, showed him what foods to stay away from. He says in like 3 weeks that pain was gone.
And we see this routinely: pain, skin, right, headaches, GI disturbances, autoimmune,
Rashes.
energy, rashes, right? This is routine that we see this across the board.
I love Jeff's quote. He said, "Don't put any." Everybody treats rosacea or psoriasis topically, right, with all these chemicals. And Jeff always says, "Don't put anything on your skin you wouldn't put in your mouth."
Yeah, if you can't eat it, don't put it on your skin because it's
You're
going to get in your
absorb it.
bloodstream.
You're eating it, yeah.
You're eating it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in
And I think, when we look at it, there's a couple of key things you're talking about when you mentioned GI, right?
Yeah.
Because that is really the portal to the body. I think people, may not realize there's a tube from the mouth all the way through the colon. That's like a pipe the outside world is traveling through. It doesn't really absorb into the bloodstream and then get transported to the organs until it passes through that intestinal tract. And it seems like that is where the challenges start, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about, I know it's a very complex area of the body, but can you break it down so people get a better understanding? I always equate it to like a screen door, right? It's supposed to keep the bugs out, let the air in. And the other key thing you mentioned about stress, I remember Dr. Bland showed, I always was like, why does stress affect GI, right? Why does stress affect health? Well, when you're under a lot of stress, it could be emotions, it could be thoughts, it could be financial, relationship. When you're under that stress, the body starts prioritizing, right? And what they found is the GI repair mechanism in the gut starts to decrease as stress increases.
Exactly.
Does that explain a lot of what's going on?
Fight or flight. Fight or
Yeah.
flight. If you're going to run away from a tiger or a band of bandoleros chasing you down, your body's going to shut down energy to your digestion and your immune system and put that energy into your arms and legs so you can run and fight.
Okay.
So stress is going to take down your immune system. It's going to take down your digestion so you can run and fight.
Well, wouldn't that be the same thing for people that go and do a vigorous exercise after a meal? Is that similar? They're not digesting their meal because of that?
It's a different type of mental
Is
stress.
it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, there's tremendous health benefits for exercise alone.
Well, no, I'm not
Chef.
saying that. I'm saying that the timing of it.
Yeah, I think people that are training will usually eat a big meal before they work out,
Do they?
right? That's been proven not to be a good idea because the same thing, the
Yeah.
energy is trying to break down the food.
Yeah.
Even when I grew up, I remember like the steak and potatoes before a football game.
Yeah.
They found that it takes way too long to digest it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably eating that better a day or two before if you're going to eat that. But they want more of a complex carbohydrate that can break down slowly with a little bit of protein, not too much fat. But that's a topic for another day. Jeff, we're talking about some of these studies. So when they come into your office, what is the type of testing you do? Because, some people are familiar with applied kinesiology. I've been certified by Freddie Gallan in nutritional response testing, right? We do it by Zyto with the equipment, but you do a manual version. Can
Yes.
you maybe explain a little bit about that and how important that is in finding the underlying causes?
Yeah, so when things are in congruency with you, when your body wants something, it strengthens your body. When your body's rejecting something, it weakens your body. So we're all made of energy, like our smartphones. The energy, electrical impedance in your fingertip can alter things on your phone. Well, we're energetic beings. If you get 15 people in a row and everybody...
People, that's a good one because people know about the phone, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So just as you touch the phone, it can change something.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can touch someone's body and feel the energy. Great analogy. Thank you.
So if you get 15 people in a row, everybody holds hands, and one guy grabs an electrical shorted out wire. Everybody gets a shock.
Yeah.
We're electrical beings. We're
That's right.
energetic beings.
That's right.
And there are lines of energy flow that flow through your body. Acupuncture has been used in the system for 5,000 years. You think if it didn't work after 1,000 years, they'd abandon it, but it works.
They're still putting on their testing, right?
Yeah, still
Yeah.
testing it, right?
Yeah, it gets
But you
tested
can
forever. It
touch
works.
different spots on the body and see how well your energy flows through your digestive enzyme reflex, through your stomach acid reflex, through your immune reflexes, through your organ reflexes. And typically on the first visit when I see people, they have a weak response on 6 to 12 of these reflexes. 6 to 12. They come back 4 weeks later, and none of them are weak. Everybody, just about everybody. When I test them on foods the same way, they come back 4 weeks later, and they may fail on 50, 60 foods. They don't have a poor response on the good stuff, but the bad stuff that everybody fails on, like canola oil and Jif peanut butter, everybody fails on because of the toxic level of things in there. They're always toxic.
I like some of the, another thing that you do is that when somebody might fail on a food, and not a toxic food like a canola oil, but a regular food, like say a pepper. And then you say, but then you test them with that food with an enzyme, and they don't fail.
Yes.
And I think that is just incredible.
It's wild. There's a enzyme reflex and a stomach acid reflex. And say a person has a weak response on their enzyme reflex, and I have 16 different digestive formulas in my office, we find which particular digestive enzyme reflex strengthens it the best.
Right.
Then when I ask them, let me see how your body responds to onions, peppers, tomatoes, cabbage, and they may fail on these things.
Yeah.
I have them hold the enzyme. Let me see how your body responds to peppers with this enzyme. And they're strong as can be. Tomatoes with this enzyme, strong as can be. I said, your body said it didn't want stomach acid support. I grab a stomach acid formula. Let me see how your body responds to these tomatoes with the stomach acid formula. And it's weak.
Right.
Grab the enzyme again, strong as can be. And they're like, wow.
Yeah.
And the light bulb starts going on, like, I need enzymes to help digest my food more efficiently.
Right.
If you have enzymes to digest your food more efficiently, you get more nutrients to every organ of your body, and things start to work better.
Yeah.
What a concept.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference, I think, is focusing on the underlying causes, right? Dr. Weiner's famous quote, anything can cause anything. Mm-hmm. If you give the body what it needs, it can heal itself, right? And it's been proven hundreds of thousands of times. And folks, we learned recently, in the last 10 to 20 years, that genetics do play a role. Mm-hmm. But they're finding usually about 12 up to the most 30%, right? Mm-hmm. And even Dr. Jeffrey Bland, the father of functional medicine, has stated publicly that this whole thing with genetic determinism is a fallacy. He says, because if you can give me 70% impact, I'll take it. And he uses dad as an example. Mm-hmm. His dad really liked to do, a lot of writing, right? And when he started suffering, with neurological issues, he couldn't do some of those things, right? He couldn't write his books and his articles. So what happened is Jeff tested him in the early stages and found that folate metabolism was an issue. He needed more B12, so he put him on a protocol, and I got goosebumps just thinking about it. His mom called him and said, oh my God, your dad woke up today and said, let's go on a picnic. And then in the afternoon, he did his writing and took a nap, and then she goes, it was a completely different man. And he said he was able to extend the quality of life for his dad over 4 years when he was rapidly declining just by zeroing in on some nutritional deficiencies. And he says genetics is a small part, but you can't change your genes, right? But you can change how the genes express. And when you mentioned the 90 essential nutrients, what we did with our team and you involved is we created the Power Cleanse in the greens, so you have all of them in there. You do 1 scoop of each a day. We call it the Shake a Day Club. Folks, if you just do that once a day for less than a cup of coffee, you get all the nutrients you need. So at least now you're eliminating some toxic food and you're overcoming nutritional deficiencies, right? Correct. And then if you work with someone like Jeff, they can help you further refine the program. But even as a maintenance, they can do something like that. Yeah. So when you're testing for these foods, what's the process then? What can they do from that first visit to the second? Do they need to eliminate these foods?
The ideal scenario, if you fail on a certain food, it may not be wise to eat it right away. Because if you eat it, say for instance there's proteins in different foods. If those proteins don't break down to amino acids, we're only supposed to pass amino acids through our intestinal wall. But many times our intestines are too porous and bigger protein chunks get in your bloodstream and your immune system attacks it. And you waste energy and nutrition eating the food that should be giving you energy and nutrition. Yeah. So initially, if you avoid those foods, that gives you a whole lot more energy to everything else to repair in your body. So and during that time, you're replacing pancreas cells with probably better pancreas cells. You're digesting your food more efficiently, better every day. And as time progresses on in that first month time, people notice, many times they notice huge differences. And the ones that even don't notice much difference, when you show them when they come back and they originally failed on 75 foods and they fell on 8, they're like, yeah, okay, things changed. Things change radically.
Some of these 8 that everybody seems to fail on are foods that should just be avoided, period, right? Like you mentioned,
Canola
canola oil, right?
We said that at the same
You
time.
can't eat a canola, right? So don't eat the oil. It's
Well,
not-
you say that, but where are people being exposed is because they may hear canola oil, think it's healthier than a hydrogenated
Right,
oil,
right.
and then where are these things coming from?
Where's canola oil coming from? Canola oil comes from a plant called the rapeseed plant, which is poisonous in nature. It has to be refined for it not to be poisonous. So there's no way you could eat it in nature.
But where are people? What foods are this in?
Packaged foods across the board. You mean
Mayonnaise,
soybean oil
salad
and canola
dressings.
oil are in all packaged foods. And if you go to a restaurant, that's what they're cooking with.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when people hear that, right, they think, "Oh, I've been eating that for years," and they don't think it affects them. You know, I like to do is substitute, right? Because rather than say don't ever eat mayonnaise again or don't eat dressing again, you know, why not go to a healthier version?
Yeah,
yeah.
Right, so
you can get an
it takes them
avocado-based
a little
mayo.
extra work. I like the avocado base.
Yeah,
right?
it's really good.
I like sunflower base.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think if you take a little time to get educated on this, then you can have a plan of action. Right. Maybe you have to go to Whole Foods. Maybe you have to shop at Giant Eagle locally in different departments. Right. Maybe you have to go to the strip district and actually look at the companies that provide these types of sources. But what are your thoughts on that with substituting? Because you know
Absolutely.
it's not always the food. Because you can take peanut butter, right, and look at two different companies, and it's two completely different foods.
And when you look at Smucker's natural peanut butter, the ingredients are peanuts and salt. Most organic peanut butters, peanuts and salt. But many other peanut butters are roasted peanuts, sugar, fully hydrogenated oil, mono and diglycerides, molasses, salt, and it's frankenfood. It's
Yeah.
not real food. You know,
Yeah.
it's some peanuts with a bunch of other chemicals.
So I like where you're going here because you know you can just simply make an adjustment, right?
Yeah.
I did this with milk a long time ago, right? So now I've transitioned to sugar-free coconut milk, right? The one without any sweetener. It's not really sugar-free. There's no sweetener in it, and that's nice because I like to get the extra fats. Sometimes you like a little milk, especially with those new peanut butter treats we have in the kitchen, Joe. What'd you think of those? Because the other day I was feeling a little guilty, folks. Total transparency here. I'm eating the Super Shake peanut butter treats.
Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was. I said, I think I've eaten a couple of these. I looked over at Joe. I says, "Did you have these yet? And how many did you have?"
None. I said,
None.
no, can I get one, please?
Yeah, and then 4 later, Jeff. Not one, but 4 later. So look, that's another example. I
Yeah.
even said at home, I said, you know, it's nice to have a little treat,
Yeah.
but know that hey, it's not a something bad for you.
Right.
So
Yeah.
even the healthy treats, we have the recipes here using this Super Shake,
Mm-hmm.
right? Using it was really interesting the way she made them. She took dark chocolate and melted them in organic coconut oil. Must have got that one from Joe.
Yeah.
And somebody came in the other day and said, "There's no way these can be good." I said, "Here's the recipe. I actually watch her make them." Right. So there is hope, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be
Right.
punished or deprived.
Yeah.
It takes a little more effort. And I was one of my clients, Lisa Coach, was posting the other day, and she says, "Folks, just stop and take a deep breath, okay, and realize." You have to pay more for the food without the poison and chemicals in it. Have we stopped and thought about that, right? You're talking about nutritional deficiencies and toxicity. That can be changed in one decision. Nicole Estep said the other day, you can make one decision today that could dramatically change your life, right? What did the other day Caroline say? You need drastic lifestyle changes. It could be as simply as the peanut butter source. Right?
Yeah.
And then what happens when you test them? What was their response?
Yeah, so many people eat these national brand peanut butters. And I said, really focus on, let me show you about a response to Jif peanut butter. And they're super weak.
And if they come in overweight with skin issues and headaches and depression and mood, they should be open to it, right?
Yeah,
Because what's
absolutely.
the other favorite quote, Joe, about the mind and the parachute?
Oh, the mind is just like a parachute because it only works if it's open.
There you go.
Little bit
So if you're
open-minded.
coming in and you're not healthy, you have to really surrender at the front door. It's the only thing we ask for. Just come in with an open mind, right? And think about, hey, this guy is a busy healthcare professional. The clinic is busy. We help a lot of people. Just be open to it.
Yeah.
Because it's very challenging to help somebody if they're not open to it. Right?
The sad part is the amount of programming we've had along the way. And if you're working in the healthcare industry, traditional allopathic industry, you're the program you've got hasn't allowed many people's minds to be open per se, because they think this is the way things should be. When you start talking to them about different things and you show them physically on their body how things are weak and strong, they start to get opened up. So the more open you are, the better. That would be a wonderful, wonderful thing. We were talking earlier about the ingredients in foods. I saw the other day olive oil mayonnaise.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one a long time ago.
Olive oil mayonnaise?
Olive oil
Man,
mayonnaise.
yeah.
Is that good or bad? I'm not sure
so
where we're going
I
here.
picked it up.
Is the idea that they're putting olive oil instead of hydrogenated oil?
Yeah.
Well,
So, but
not
be
exactly.
the first ingredient, olive oil. The second ingredient, soybean oil. Third ingredient, canola oil.
Yeah.
This
So
is what
the-
happens, folks. So they use these little, it's like a
Little
tease
nuances.
or a bait, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we got a little olive oil there. Okay, well, it's not olive oil,
No.
right? So be careful.
Read the
right?
back label,
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
front.
And I do like the avocado type of dressing. Some of them are really low calorie too. They got some good nutrients in there. They use sunflower oil, things like that. These are healthier versions, folks, right? And again, it's like that old commercial from the 70s. You can pay me now or pay me later.
Yeah.
So I don't think people realize the impact of the food. So we got a few minutes left. Can we just drive that home? Because one is the stress component, right? So what are some things you recommend for people to help with their stress? I have my list and Joe does, but I want to know, what do you recommend to somebody? Just, you took a deep breath right there.
There you go.
That's called a natural limbic reaction. So
Yeah.
just breathing, right?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll go to work with people and I could tell they're very, very antsy, and I'll say, okay, just take 1 second and just take a deep breath in and hold it.
He's talking to us, Joe.
And I said,
Make
as
that
you
diaphragmatic too.
and I say, as you exhale, just let your shoulders drop and let your neck muscles relax. You may do that 2 or 3 times, and it totally changes the person's state. You take a deep breath. You exhale, you drop your shoulders, let your neck relax. And then the third time you do it, lightly tense up every muscle in your body. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, relax every muscle in your body.
Ah, that's new. I haven't done that.
You know what? That's interesting because when we used to play sports, they said the best time to stretch is after a contraction, even with working out. So that's what you did. Mild contraction and then relax.
And release.
Wow. My neck is
Yeah.
feeling a lot better.
That's good. Yeah, we all hold energies in our body,
Yeah.
and sometimes it takes a little mental focus to release it. And realize the best thing you can do is realize when you're stressed, is to relax and let it go.
Right, recognizing that you are.
Because
right.
the situation you're in, you're not going to be killed from a lion.
Yeah.
But you're like all amped up. You know what? I'm not going to be killed. I can let it go. The problem's still going to be there, but my body doesn't have to be all tensed up and shut
And
down.
I think one of the things I'm learning here, and Tony Robbins promotes this, you got to change the environment. Either the mental environment or the physical environment. You have to change it. And you could change it just like you did in 30 seconds. Joe's smiling bigger.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
feeling a
great.
little
I
more
love it.
relaxed, right? So something simple. Joe, what do you do, something simple to help you relax and just really restore?
You know, I've been lately listening to, Jeff likes energy, vibration medicine. I've been listening to these vibrational tones.
Solfeggio frequency?
Solfeggio frequencies. And boy, I'll tell you what, you can sleep to them, you can drive to them, you can just relax with them because they resonate. Your body has frequencies that come from nature, and this helps them resonate.
Can you
Really
share them?
amazing. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
okay. You got my number?
Huh? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Just go on YouTube, hit solfeggio frequencies. They're all there. No, I'll send it
Solfeggio.
to you.
It sounds just like
It is
sounds just
Italian.
like-
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
So the thing I like to do, good.
I was just going to say before we finish up, I really want Jeff to touch on his allergy reversal too.
Yeah. So, say for instance, you're a 1-year-old kid and you get bit by a cat. What's your reaction? Your eyes are watering, your nose is running because you're crying because you got bit by a cat.
Yeah.
Now you may be 5 years old, 10 years old, 30 years old, 50 years old. Every time you're around cats, your eyes water, your nose runs. So
This is
it's a
great.
program set up in your mind, a subconscious program, that when you're around cats, your eyes water, your nose runs. Well, energy flows through your whole body. And if you take a jar of cat fur and hold it in your hand, you're not physically exposed to it, but the energy field that it's emitting
still there, right?
is still there. Just like your cell phone will go right through concrete floor, steel buildings, roofing material,
Yeah.
thousands of miles away, it still sends a signal.
Yeah.
And
It
if
goes
it's
right
not
through it.
sending a signal, you'll see an adult having a tantrum. Right?
So,
jumping up and down. I don't have any service.
Yeah,
so
no service.
energy doesn't have these bounds. So when you hold a jar of cat fur, the energy's coming out from it, and your body's
Your
experiencing.
body can feel that
energy.
Even though maybe you can't pick it up on it mentally, subconsciously you can feel it.
Yes,
Right?
you're feeling that energy. And then you can stimulate acupressure meridian points all through the body while you breathe 4 different ways. And somehow it resets this switch that's been turned on. It used to be inflammatory around cats. Now it's non-inflammatory.
Oh, this is
I
great.
can't guarantee this, but it works
So what
for
is-
just
we're
about
not
everybody.
making claims, of course.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what types of allergens and allergies have you helped with people over the last 10 years?
So in my office, I have 3,200 testing vials in there, over 3,200 to test on all sorts of stuff.
I think you might be underestimated. I mean, there's vials everywhere in that place.
But yeah, cat allergies I've helped people eliminate. Dog
What about
allergies.
pollen? Everyone's complaining
Pollen,
it's allergy season,
trees,
right?
flowers, weeds, shrubs, grasses. There's a picture
What
I have
about
on my phone.
chemicals? Somebody takes a vaccination or Tylenol and they have a reaction. Because somebody texted me the other day, oh, I had a reaction to Tylenol. I'm like, what do you, oh, they said I was only taking because I was sick. So is that something you could reverse? Because it seemed like it wasn't going away.
Everything has an energy. Everything can be manipulated per se.
I think we have a question,
We have
right,
a few
Phil?
questions. One of them is, how long does the allergy treatment take? And is it a one and done?
Many times it's one and done.
Oh,
it takes me
shocked.
it takes me about 8 to 10 minutes to do this. You have to sit there for a half hour afterwards, holding the vial of whatever we gave you a reversal
Because if
for.
somebody's getting allergy shots, those don't end. It's not a one and done. It's a 1,000 and keep going.
So the story
forever.
starts with a medical doctor up in Portersville or Greenville area. He did allergy shots for 30 years.
Dr. Roy Carey?
Dr. Roy Carey.
Yeah.
He did allergy shots for 30 years. And he learned Nambutapad's allergy elimination technique system and started doing that with his clients. He was ready to retire.
I know.
He got
Then
so
I met him, yeah.
he got so busy he had to open up a second office in Portersville because word of mouth got out. This guy treated me and cured my reversed my
Well, it's
allergy
funny
in one visit.
You bring up Dr. Roy Carey because when I first met with him, he told me about his program. I asked a lot of questions. Seemed like a really nice gentleman. And I was like, Doc, I says, you live in the middle of nowhere. Like, what is all this toxicity? I'm thinking New York City, LA, Miami, Chicago. He goes, oh, let me explain something, young man. I says, okay. And he went through all the toxins in the fields, and the herbicides and pesticides and DDT, right down the Roundup and all these things. And he says, these are endocrine disruptors. So I'm seeing people with lack of ability to conceive, people that are going through stages of life a lot quicker, right? People with thyroid dysfunction. Those are the top things that he was seeing. So that's what he said. He goes, I can't retire now knowing that I know this. And then, with Sherry and the whole team, he built multiple clinics and, really did a nice job of helping people.
So that's how it all started. That's how it started for Dr. Weiner. He was instrumental in getting Dr. Weiner trained in doing this. I got reversals from both of them back in the early 90s and changed my life totally. And I've been doing it since probably 1996, 7, something like that. It's been 25
We got a few
years.
more questions. Phil?
Yeah, the Power Cleanse and the Lean Greens, does that cover the 90 essential vitamins and minerals?
Yeah, so it's 90 essential nutrients, which are vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytonutrients, essential fatty acids. Did I get them all?
Amino acids, yeah.
Yeah, so the Power Cleansing Greens, the idea of that is that it'll provide all the probiotics and enzymes. You get all your macronutrients, those are protein, carbs, fat, and fiber. You get all your micronutrients, which are activated vitamins, chelated minerals, and we provide extra amino acids to the liver. You get your essential fatty acids with the coconut oil. Then you get all your phytonutrients in the green. So this is all in one shake-a-day. So it's a nice way to assure you're getting at least the minimum requirements you need every day. Plus you're replacing a meal.
Yeah.
Which you're explaining a lot of these toxins and allergens are coming from the food.
Oh.
So a great question, Phil. And it's a great answer. So
Not bad. Any more? We got time for one more, Phil.
No, just
That's good?
I got
Okay,
one more
comments?
question on my
Okay.
All right, so Jeff, what does it cost to do your program? Because that always comes up.
It's $95 for the hour visit.
That's
Yeah.
it?
That's it.
And how much is the allergy reversal treatment?
It's a 65 if we add it on to a half-hour visit. Sometimes I incorporate it in an initial visit. It depends.
So it's part of the office visit, right?
Yes.
There's not hundreds or thousands of dollars
No.
added on top of this, right?
No.
And look, we have clients in New York and Florida, and they usually charge a lot of money. And when I ask them, about the fee, very politely, they says, "Look, I should be charging you a lot more because I change people's lives."
Mm-hmm.
They says, "Oh, I charge you $1,500." This is we're worth 15,000 or more. What is your health worth, right?
Yeah.
So we keep the fees very low and affordable here. However, we want you to rest assured that we have your best interest in mind, and that Jeff is very dedicated to helping people. And hey, it may take a couple of visits sometimes, and sometimes you may catch him walking down the hallway during an event. And if he's free, he may give you a freebie for a few minutes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on down to the Wellness Week. We'll be here tonight until 7 p.m. We'll be here all week, Thursday, Friday, and we got a big day Saturday.
Got a big
Special
day
guest,
Saturday. Yes, sir.
Hall of Famer coming in.
Hall of Famer Franco Harris will be here
Cross
Saturday.
our fingers.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks so much, Jeff. Incredible knowledge and education. I learned so much today. I really appreciate it. Thanks, of course, to Joe Messino, and thanks to Philly Phil. Thanks to all support at the Wellness Center. We are open all day, folks. Come on down. Free food between
11 and 2.
Well, let's have a great day.
Yeah.
Lunch on us.
And if you want to schedule an appointment, call 412-922-9355.
That's
There it is.
412-922. Well, we'll see everyone today. Have a great day, and God bless.
God bless. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you,